GenCon earlier this month, and I picked up a lot of great games. I'd like to tell you about 5 more of these nice little card games that we've gotten to enjoy. Let's start with Roaring Twenties. Roaring Twenties is a game that is a lot like For Sale. You are getting cards that help you bid, and you're using those bidding cards in order to get dinosaurs. You want sets of dinosaurs, either of pairs or triples, or of runs. When you've decided to stop bidding, you instead claim one of the cards out in the row to be able to take for bidding later. Each dinosaur has certain kinds of cards. They like snacks in this case. They like kebabs, lava cakes, and drinks. And every dinosaur likes gems, but not combined with any food. The game is nice and brisk, takes about a half hour, very easy to learn, very easy to get into. It has fantastic art, and I love the pun of the name. That's definitely what first attracted me to the game. But it plays something in the weight class of For Sale. It has nice, simple auction mechanics, and no one feels too bad about losing because you'll still get some kind of reward. So Roaring Twenties, nice light auction game that we'll continue to keep playing for a while to come. Next up, Xylotar. Xylotar has unfortunately a very well-trodden theme. Like in many other games, there's a polar bear who wanted to play the keytar, but paw's too big, so he had a custom Xylotar made, and then the specifications were lost, and the classic Xylotar theme. So unfortunately that's a little bit trodden ground, but the gameplay is novel enough for a trick taker. The back of every card will show you its range and its suit. Each suit has its own range. The red, or whole notes, will be any number 0 through 9, and continuing through each color, it has a slightly smaller range. They all go down from 0 to some other number. You are going to take the hand of the person next to you and arrange it from highest to lowest, and then it will be laid out in front of them. And there will inevitably be some ties in their hands, so there will be groups of 1s or 2s or 5s somewhere in there. You will have some idea of your own hand, but just as much as an idea as anybody else except for the person who sorted it. You are going to get 1 point for every trick you win. The red suit that goes 0 through 9 is trump. Otherwise, the highest card of the lead suit wins. And at any time during the game, you have the chance to take 2 face-down cards from your hand, peek at them, and set one of them as your bid. If you make that bid exactly, you get bonus, but there's no penalty for missing it beyond not getting the bonus. This game has even more deduction and memory than most trick-taking games. Those are already skills that are highly desirable in a trick taker, but Xylotar really enforces those even more strongly. So if that's the kind of thing that you like in a trick-taking game, if you like working on deduction, if you like card counting, this will very much play into what you want. If those don't interest you so much, you may be a little frustrated or playing a little bit more randomly in Xylotar, but I've certainly gotten to enjoy it so far, and I hope it becomes a big success. Vivo, another trick taker. This one has a theme that doesn't really apply to the game. It has singing dogs, but there's no reason for them to be singing dogs at all. They just happen to be in the game. There are 4 suits that go 1 to 12, and in every hand, before anyone plays, you'll flip up whether this hand belongs to a solo, duet, trio, or quartet. And that is how many different suits should be played into the trick. If you are in a solo, then whatever the lead suit is, that's the only one that matters, and everyone has to play whatever the lead suit is, if possible. If it's a duet, then over the course of the entire hand, so if there's 4 players, over the 4 cards played, you need to have 2 colors played. So if the first 3 players all play red, the 4th must play a white, a blue, or a green if possible. In a trio, you have to have 3 colors played. In a quartet, 4 colors played. You can't voluntarily play a card that would make it impossible to fulfill whatever the type of music is. Scoring: in each hand, the highest card played, you'll get to keep that for 2 points, put that face down. The lowest card played, you get to keep it face up, face value. So the lowest has more opportunity to get some nice, big, rewarding plays in there, but the bigger risk you're taking on that, the more chances there are for someone to thwart that. If there is a tie in what the highest or lowest is, it'll go to the last player to play. So if your 5, for instance, is the low card going to the last round, well, that's quite easy to get taken from you with anything 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5 beating that. So there's a little bit of risk, a little bit of card counting. It's a light, fun experience, and there are those fun moments of, haha, I won it with a 5 or a 6, and that feels really good to do. This one plays even quicker than the other two so far. It's light. It barely even needs to be its own package game. It's very similar to standard deck of playing cards, and if you just made some solo duo, or solo duet trio quartet cards, you could really play this just completely on your own. I imagine that's how this is prototyped as well. But it's cheap enough to get. Vivo. It cost me $8 at GenCon, so not a huge outlay, and the card art is cute, if completely incidental. Less cute, but certainly enjoyable, is Digit Code. This is a pure deduction game. Before the game, each player is setting 6 digits. There can only be 2 of each digit maximum, and you can't have identical numbers next to each other. Once you've set up your codes, then you're going to be asking the other players. I've only played this 2 player, so asking the other player one question about their numbers. You can ask how many segments in a column or row are lit up. You can ask them if a certain segment is lit up. You can ask if a certain digit is odd or even, and you can ask if a pair of adjacent digits, which one is bigger. Those bits of deduction will eventually lead someone to get the correct answer. That's really all there is. I was a little nervous before I brought this out that this would be a little too dry to really enjoy. My wife and I do enjoy some deduction games for sure. What's My Word is probably the closest parallel I have, which is a Wordle style game where everyone has their own word and they're asking, basically Wordle style prompts to figure out what the other one's is, and otherwise there's no interaction. Digit Code is very much in that vein, where there's not any interaction really beyond you're answering the other person's question and then the timing. The first one to correctly guess the other person's code is the winner. So even though I thought this would maybe be a little too dry, we've played this twice and quite enjoyed it both times. And this is certainly one that is great for that lower-ish brain power, but not completely off. Just want to sit on the couch and don't need to be huddled on a table. Don't need to take ridiculous notes for a deduction game. Just writing up, yep, they said this was even, or, oh, there's 4 in this column, or I think this is a 1 now. So it was straightforward, easy to learn. If deduction's your thing, you'll like Digit Code. And finally, Time to Panic. Time to Panic is a cooperative game where you are trying to make a row of numbers go from smallest to largest at the end of the game. You're going to start with some random cards and you're going to be manipulating and adding cards to the row. You are going to have some special abilities that you see on each card that has one of a few different predefined abilities, letting you look at face down cards, flip things around, get rid of sequences from the middle of the row, delete cards, things like that. Then there is some kind of bad card that happens at the end of the round. We have only played on the mild panic difficulty, and in that one, we were able to pretty well deal with everything that came our way. We ended up winning the game with a perfect score after our first play. One thing that we really loved was the beautiful art on the number cards. They are nice and evocative, they have great style to them. They really kept our attention, and when you lay them all in perfect numerical order, they make this nice panorama showing things going from like the start of the cosmos to the far future. It was really nice to see, really pleasant to play. I want to try it at a higher difficulty still to see if it gives us more of a challenge. I imagine it absolutely will, but we just played at that introductory one. But still enough to make us want to go back. It does compete with another new game that we got, one I talked about in my prior video, Beasts, which is another cooperative game where you make numbers go up. There's certainly differences between them, but it was amusing that I got two different games that involved making numbers go sequentially with beautiful art on the cards and otherwise very simple, straightforward cooperative play. So that's my second batch of first thoughts. Please let me know if you've gotten to try any of these, and if any of these sound interesting to you and you want to know more. Always feel free to reach out. I'll see you next time.